How's it going, guys? My name is Just Weavile and welcome to my channel where we try to bring out the potential of every Pokemon available. Today's focus is on the penguin Pokemon Eiscue. With the move Belly Drum to maximize its attack stats and unique ability Ice Face making it impervious to the first physical attack it's struck with, this thing can set up to sweep really easily. Let's get started. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. So they're going to lead off with Grimmsnarl as I expected. As I led off with Entei. Now, the reason I led with Entei is because this is not a usual Entei set. You normally think it's physical, but no, we're running a special Entei and with choice specs. So the Grimmsnarl, I figured this would be a good lead because Grimmsnarl most likely go for a Reflect here, expecting a physical attack. In which case, we're going to go for an Eruption here. They go for a Thunder Wave instead. That's fine. Even better, actually, because it means there's no screens up. And as long as we don't get fully paralyzed here, which we probably won't. Never mind. Damn it. We got fully paralyzed, but at least we didn't reveal what move we had, so they're going to still go for a Reflect more than likely. So let's go for an Eruption now. They go for a Light Screen. Really? Did they really predict the special Entei? That's kind of annoying. So we go for the Choice Specs Eruption at full health. It still does a nice chunk of damage to them. Wouldn't have KO'd. We go for an Eruption again, though. There we go. We still outspeed them. They're probably going for a physical attack now, which would be fine. And that's going to lower our special attack. Spirit Break will, I think. I think Spirit Break lowers your special attack, is it? Yeah, special attack. So that's unfortunate, but we can still KO with the next Eruption, and they know this, so we're going to go for an Eruption anyway. They go for a Reflect just to get it up before they go down to an Eruption, as long as we get fully paralyzed, which we don't, which is nice, as Eruption's going to take out the Grimmsnarl. So that whole lead was like a bit of a bad one. Not only did our Entei get like fully paralyzed once, and just paralyzed in general, they got both screens up, which is bad, and they actually predicted the special Entei by going for a light screen, which is wild to me. But they're going to go into Quackable now, which is fine. They want to go for an Aqua Step more than likely, if I have to guess. So I'm going to go into my Corviknight here. Corviknight is definitely the best answer for the Quackable, I'd say, because even if they go for a Swords Dance here, we can still take a CC and go for a Brave Bird. Unless they Terra Electric with Terra Blast, we should be alright. They go for the Aqua Step though, not the Swords Dance. That's fine. It's going to do a bit of chip damage to us. It raises their speed, but it gets them some damage with the Rocky Helmet. So if they are sashed for whatever reason, they aren't anymore. So let's go for a Brave Bird here, because we want to definitely take down this Quackable. They go for a Swords Dance. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. In the face of a Corviknight, we go for a Brave Bird here. This should take him out, right? No, because of the Reflect. Right, okay, yeah, Reflect is up, Light Screen's up. Gotta remember that. Do we defog? I say we defog. They're gonna go for a knockoff, that's fine. We live those even at +2, that's fine. And then they knock off our Rocky Helmet. We go for a defog because we want to get rid of those screens now that the Grimmsnarl's gone. That's for sure. Lowering their evasiveness is pretty good as well. But you know what? This thing's at +1 speed. We don't want to add to that. You know what I mean? We don't want to add to that. So what we're going to have to do here, we're going to have to play a bit of a Goodra thing. So we know they're going to go for an Aqua Step to get an extra speed boost. So we're going to go into Goodra here. We go into Goodra because we can take an Aqua Step, no problem. We've got the Gooey, which will lower their speed. And then when they finish us off with a close combat, it'll lower their speed back down to neutral. So Aqua Step comes through. Does under half, which is ideal. Raises their speed to +2. Then lowers it to +1. Now, we go for a Thunderbolt here just to see if we can, but I think they go for a close combat. They go for a knockoff, that's equally as well, because now they're at neutral speed, which is what we want, because now we can bring in anything else to revenge kill it, and I'm obviously going to choose, now that they've got no Dark type, they've got a Moxie boost, that's fine. We go into Espeon here. Espeon can handle this thing. Unless the Terra Dark, Espeon can handle this thing. So, we go into Dazzler now. And I'm just going to double check that. Yeah, they are neutral speed, which is awesome. So, if they're Terra Dark, I'm gonna flip. We go for a Psychic here. We go for a Psychic. We take out the Quackable. There we go. Down it goes. I would have gone into the Goodra then, if I was them, the Hisuian Goodra that they have on their team. But it's just, at the same time, they don't really know what we're going to do. All right, Typhlosion comes in. We know this thing's probably going to be Frisco's and CR Light Clay. This thing's probably going to be Scarfed if they brought it in. So we may have to sack here, or we can go into Entei. I'm going to go into Entei, and we'll see how much damage they're going to do, because Espeon could still be useful. It outspeeds, you know, special attacks on the Earth Alone is going to be really useful. So we'll go into Entei. And they probably go for a Shadow Ball, but they might go for an Eruption. as they go for an Infernal Parade, which is going to do what? Oh, that's Specs if I've ever seen it. That's Specs if I've ever seen it. So that does a lot of damage. Infernal Parade comes. It's Infernal Parade. Is that a ghost type move or is it a fire type move? Well, it wasn't resisted, so it's definitely a ghost type move. So down goes the good old fashioned Entei. We're going to go into Meowscarada now, because even if they're Scarf, which we know they're not, the Specs, no, they could be Scarfed, to be fair. They could be Scarfed. Entei doesn't have the best special defense in the world. We 100% go for a knockoff here just to get the KO on the Typhlosion, and if that's the Terra, we should get said KO. Knockoff comes through, turns into a Dark type, so we can resist the Infernal Parade, but we KO the Typhlosion anyway with the knockoff, and I'm curious to see what item it had. Did it have Choice Scarf or Specs? Scarf. Okay, so yeah, Entei's just got not the best special defense in the world. All right, Goodra comes in. Now, we don't know what Goodra's set this is. It could be an Iron Defense set for all we know. That's for sure. So, do we want to do this? I'm going to go for a knockoff just to see what kind of set they've got, and also just to get some damage off on them. We go for a knockoff. It's going to do half, which is great damage. We knock off their Rocky Helmet. We get hurt by it first, but we knock off their Rocky Helmet. And they go for a Chilling Water. Interesting choice. So, more of a support Goodra, if I had to guess. So, I'm going to go into Corviknight now. Just to see what else they're going to do, and then we'll U-turn on them. So we'll go into Corviknight now. Like so, Noctis comes in. And I'm hoping they've got Body Press. They have Dragon Pulse, that's not good. So they're a specially offensive one. Fine though, it's fine. All we need to do here is go for a Brave Bird, just to get some damage off on this thing. And then let it take us out. There we go, Brave Bird damage comes through. We see they're not gooey as well, which is good to know. They go for that T-Bolt, it's fine. What we need to do now is we have Dragon Pulse, Chilling Water, and T-Bolt. Eiscue can't set up on this unless we get a Light Screen up. So we're going to have to go into good old Dazzler over here. The Espeon. And we go for a Light Screen every single time here. Light Screen comes through. There we go. Light Screen made us special defense higher. They go for a Heavy Slam. That's good. That means their only move to hit us. All right, let's go for a Reflect. I'm going to let us go down to a Heavy Slam here. Heavy Slam comes through, that's fine. So that means their only super effective attack against Eiscue is physical, which is good. It means we can set up here. So let's go into Eiscue now. Q-Bed comes in. Like so. Nice and shiny, gotta love it. And we go for a Belly Drum here. Why not? Belly Drum comes through. Cuts our health in half. And we do have an even number of HP, so we can get the Citrus Berry, which is great. Gives us some more health back. So if they do go for a special attack here, we know we can take it thanks to the Light Screen. And they go for that Heavy Slam, which is what we wanted. We want the Heavy Slam. We want the Heavy Slam to break the Ice Face, revealing our true form, which isn't a Cube Head. And now we go for an Ice Spinner and we take this thing out. So Ice Spinner comes through. Boom. Down goes the Goodra, which is awesome. So with Goodra out of the way, and we knocked off the Rocky Helmet as well, which is great. We should be able to win this game with Eiscue now, I think. All right, Electivire comes in. Let's see what we can do here against Electivire. I want to use all three moves, so I'm going to go for the Terra Fire as well and go for a Terra Blast here. And this will also mean that if they go for a fighting move like a Cross Chop, we will be neutral to it, so we'll be able to take it, which would be great. So we're going to Terra, and it was worth noting they haven't Terra'd yet, so they could easily Terra on anything. They might Terra with this, for all we know. If they're going to go into the... Oh my god, the crown sits on top of his little hair. That is amazing. Amazing. So we go for the Terra Blast, Terra Fire. And if they've gone for a Cross Chop, we should be able to take it. If they had a Focus Sash, which they didn't, obviously. So Electivire goes down, which is fantastic. We might see a forfeit here, which would be awesome if we did. Might see a forfeit, but I have a feeling that they're going to let us get the Ursaluna, which would be nice. So Ursaluna comes in like so. And I have no doubt in my mind that Liquidation will finish it off. And this way we've used the Terra, the ability, we've used all 4 moves. This is going to be a great Eiscue video. They are going to Terra. What type are they going to Terra into? Something to resist ice. Something to resist ice, right? Normal? Fine. I still think Liquidation will KO here. I still think Liquidation will KO here. So we go for the Liquidation. It doesn't even... Wow. And they go for that Blood Moon. So they... You know, this is still going in the Eiscue video. I don't care. They go for that Blood Moon. That's going to destroy my Eiscue. Destroys it. Absolutely destroys it. That was a +6 liquidation, and it did just over half to an Ursaluna. This thing's ridiculously bulky. Ridiculously bulky. But you know what? It's fine, because it's a normal type right now. We have got a chance. We might lose this one, you know. We might lose this. We might lose this to the Blood Moon Ursaluna. I'm just hoping they don't have Hyper Voice. We have got the light screen up still, so we should be able to live a hit. So let's go for a Flower Trick right now. Boom. And let's hope that the critical hit is enough to get the KO. Like so. It is. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. That was GG. That was a narrow one. I didn't, based on the +6 liquidation damage, I didn't think Flower Trick would KO, but it does, which is awesome. So GG. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. They're going to lead off with Ravi, which is the Staraptor, as I led off with my Goodra. I figured Goodra would be a decent lead. Just because we can drop a Draco and anything, and if the Hatterene comes in, we can Sludge Wave it. So I'm going to go for a Draco right now, because they probably go for a U-turn as they do. U-turn does a respectable, but not enough to say it's choice banded amount of damage to our specially defensive Pokemon. So I believe that's a Scarfed Staraptor, or a Heavy Duty Boots one of the two. Oscar comes in. Who's Oscar? That's going to be the Alolan Muck. Nice and shiny as well. We go for that Draco Meteor. It's going to do a bit of damage, nothing too drastic. About, you know, just over a third of their health, so that's pretty good. As they reveal, they are a Leftovers set, which means they could Terror. If you see Black Sludge on a Poison type, it means they have no intention of Terroring. So now we're going to go into Corviknight. Corviknight is the best Pokemon to come into Alolan Muck every single time. Every single day of the week, Alolan Muck cannot touch Corviknight. Knockoff will do a bit of damage, but nothing too drastic. So they go for a knockoff, which is fine. Bit of damage, nothing too drastic, as I said. They get hurt by the Rocky Helmet before knocking it off, which is good. And now they probably, if I had to guess, switch out here into the Volcarona. No, not the Volcarona. I'd say the Archelodon comes in. So let's go for a U-turn first and foremost. They do withdraw Oscar. If they go into Archelodon, they're going to get a stamina boost. Bifrost. That's going to be the Archelodon. That's a really cool nickname for an Archelodon. We go for a U-turn. That's going to do no damage. Breaks a potential Sturdy, but they don't have Sturdy. They have Stamina. Breaks a potential Focus Sash. Always useful. And now we're going to have to go into a special attacker that can handle this Archelodon. I'm leaning towards Entei right now. Entei, with Choice Specs and the Eruption, is going to do a lot of damage to their entire team. Nothing wants to switch into this thing. Nothing. So they probably know we're special by the way we brought it in, but it's fine. We're going to go for an Eruption now. It'll do more damage than the Scorching Sands. Eruption comes through. Like so, and that is going to do a big amount of damage to that Archelodon. Does give them a stamina boost, but now they have no viable recovery, really. They go for a Draco, and they miss. That is unfortunate for them, as I'm just going to click Eruption again this time, and there's nothing they can do about it. So Eruption comes through. That Archelodon goes down. Like so. And Bifrost. The Bifrost has been destroyed. This is just 4 all over again. Ravi comes in the Staraptor, which tells me they are Scarfed because they wouldn't want to risk the speed tie here. In which case, I'm going to go into Corviknight once again. We're not going to give him any Rocky Helmet chip, but it's still going to be Brave Bird chip if they go for Brave Bird. Or they could go for a Double Edge as well. Either or works. Either or is resisted by Corviknight. And they do go for the Brave Bird, though. That's going to do no damage. And they are going to get some recall, which is good to see. We go for a U-turn here every single time because they're going to switch out. They have to switch out unless a Terra Blast fire Terra. Unless a Terra fire Terra Blast, in which case they would stay in. They withdraw though, which is great. So what are they going to go into? Probably the Volcarona, expecting a U-turn. Uwu. Uwu comes in. The Hatterene. That's fine. We go for a U-turn. Bit of chip, nothing too drastic. And we're going to switch out into something that can take on this Hatterene, which, in my opinion, is probably going to have to be the Goodra. We go for a Sludge Wave. So Goodra comes in, and as long as they're not a Calm Mind set, we should be alright here. I mean, if they are Calm Mind, Meowscarada can definitely take them out. They have got Leftovers, which is good to know. And we're just going to go for a Sludge Wave. I'm not going to bother Terroring because they wouldn't go straight for just a Draining Kiss. Sludge Wave comes through, which is great. Does over half, which is fantastic. They go for a Calm Mind, but unfortunately, the Sludge Wave did too much damage. That Calm Mind isn't going to help you. I'm pretty sure Calm Mind Sludge Wave KOs here, which is fine. Hatterene's the last Pokemon we need to get out of the way for Eiscue, just because it's a special attacker. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave to take it out, and then they bring in the... They go for the Terra. Oh, the Terra. The Terra. Ah, I didn't consider this because they didn't Terra the first turn, so I didn't think they would this turn. Terra Water. Interesting. So Terra Water is the way to go forward with this Hatterene, apparently. That's great for us, though, because it means Meowscarada can and will finish this thing off. They go for a Draining Kiss. Doesn't do enough to KO us. But it was a crit, at least, for them. Recovers a lot of health. But lowers their speed, which is all right. Now, we have to take this thing out with Meowscarada Flower Trick. That's for sure. But first, we're going to go for a Thunderbolt. It'll do a bit more damage than the Sludge Wave did the first time. So we go for the T-Bolt. It should do a bit more damage than the Sludge Wave was doing. Yeah, it does, which is nice. They go for another Draining Kiss. That's going to do enough health to KO us. And then it'll recover some of their HP back. The game plan here is, I'm looking at the team, and Meowscarada is not the best Pokemon against the rest of the team other than the Bramblegast. But I think Eiscue can do this if we can get rid of the Hatterene and bring in the Staraptor, which is what I'm going to go for here. Now, I'm going to bring Magician in now. And whilst this is a good situation for us to be in, and I want to go for a knockoff, predicting the Volcarona. Well, not predicting, but if I go for a Flower Trick here, they can bring Volcarona in and set up a Quiver Dance, which is not what we want at all. But we have to do it. We have to go for it. They withdrew. Are they going into the Volk? ... the Sodden. That is the Bramblegast right there. This is all right. This is an opportunity for us. So Flower Trick comes through, turns into a Grass type. We go for it. It's obviously going to get a critical hit, which should still do a bit of damage. Doesn't do more than half, so we can't say in and go for another. Every time it says a critical hit, I always want to say, oh, it was a crit. But it's always a crit, Jack. Calm down. This thing is going to go for a Poltergeist or a Cell Mover, like Tailwind or something like that. So I want to go ahead and switch out. I think Espeon doesn't do anything for us this game. So I'm going to go into Espeon now. I'm pretty sure Bramblegast outspeeds Espeon, but I'm letting Espeon go down here. So bring Dazzler. They go for the Poltergeist, which is great. Light Clay is going to attack us, then that means we go down as well. There's no way Espeon lives that, which is fine. Now, this is where things get good. This is where things get good because Eiscue can come in now, and that Staraptor. Staraptor, though. Let's go into Eiscue. They might switch out, to be fair. They may switch out, to be fair. If they do, so be it. But I'm going to Belly Drum here. I'm always going to Belly Drum here. They go for a Poltergeist. That's fine. Oh, we avoided it. That's not good. Belly Drum comes through. Like so. Cutting our health in half. We get our Citrus Berry, which is nice. There we go. But we are at maximum capacity, so we Terra Fire Ice Spinner here. That's what we have to do. So we Terra Fire just in case they bring in the Volcarona to try and get the Flame Body. We always Terra Fire here. So there we go. Terra Fire is a thing. Like so. Boom. They go for a Power Whip, which won't do any damage because of the big Ice Cube on our head. And then we're going to break that Ice Cube off. Like so. Go for a Ice Spinner. Now we outspeed everything on their team except from the Staraptor potentially. Staraptor potentially. So let's see how this plays out. Ravi comes in. That's going to be a Staraptor. We know it's not banded based on the damage it did earlier, but we don't know for a fact it's Scarfed. All we can do is, I know I've already Belly Drummed, but you know what? I think Eiscue can handle the Volcarona. I think it can. I'm expecting a Brave Bird here. We go into Corviknight. We have to go into Corviknight. I would stay in, but they could be Scarfed, and I don't want to risk that. Because Eiscue without its block on its head is very frail. Very frail. They go for a Brave Bird straight up. They must have been Scarfed, because otherwise they wouldn't have done that. But that Brave Bird damage was intense on the Corviknight just then. Either way, I'm going for a U-turn here. They withdraw Ravi, which is fine. Are they going to go Volcarona? Uwu comes in. That is going to be the Hatterene. Which is fine. We go for a U-turn. It's going to do a bit of damage, nothing too drastic. And then we go into Meowscarada, and we go for a knockoff for a start. Because the fact that they've terrored the hatchery means that the Volcarona is not a threat to Entei. Not really. So we can still do some stuff with that. You know, Choice Specs Eruption will still hurt the Volcarona quite a bit. So we have to go for a knockoff here, pretty much. We go for a knockoff, turning us into a pure Dark type. If this doesn't KO, it doesn't KO. Ah, and they go for the Draining Kiss, which is going to do over half to us. Recovers some of their HP as well. Recovers most of their HP. Not good. We're going to have to make a switch. We're going to have to go Corviknight again. We're going to have to go Corviknight again because the Draining Kiss, we don't want it. We don't want the Draining Kiss. We can't have them getting too much health back, which is exactly what happened there. I should have gone for a Flower Trick, but it would have invited in the Volcarona, which is the problem. That's the main issue we have with that play, is that it invites in the Volcarona. We're going for a Flower Trick. And that's probably what they were baiting, to be fair. Probably what they were baiting. I'm going to go for a Brave Bird. Just get some damage off on the hatchery as much as I can. Recoil is a thing. And then they go for a Mystical Fire, which is going to take us out. So Noctis goes down, but it did weaken this thing, which is nice. Now, what do we do here? So they have Mystical Fire, they have Calm Mind, they have Draining Kiss. We resist both of those moves. All of those moves. Entei's going to come in now. Entei seems like the best case scenario because it's at full health, so we can fire off Choice Specs Eruptions right now. And based on the knockoff damage, we know this thing's physically defensive, so I'm pretty confident Eruption will KO from here. So I'm going to go for it and see. And this stops the Volcarona from coming in as well, really. So we take out the hatchery with Entei, which is awesome. You love to see it. Alolan Muck goes down. Staraptor can't KO us in one hit. And Volcarona shouldn't be able to take 2 Eruptions, which would be even after a Quiver Dance. They go into Ravi now, knowing that we have no other switch-ins for this thing. And we have to stay in and go for an Eruption. They go for the Brave Bird, confirming they are probably Scarfed because they outspeed us. Unless they just won a speed tie, but I have a feeling it's not the case. So we go for the Eruption. It's a bit low health, so it's not going to KO. But it does do enough damage to where Meowscarada can come in and go for a knockoff or even a U-turn and KO this thing. So let's go for the Eruption once again. Brave Bird comes through. It's going to take out the Entei, which is unfortunate. But again, we've got some recoil there, which is nice. To the point where Meowscarada's U-turn should KO here. So let's go into Meowscarada now. Like so. And like I said, we just go for a U-turn here, and we should be alright. They actually withdraw the Staraptor to go into Oscar, which is going to be the Volcarona, right? No, that was the Mug. Never mind. That's fine. U-turn comes through. Turns into a Bug type, so we get nice and stab coverage on it. Does a lot of health to the Oscar over there. And now I'm leaning towards... Well, I have to go into Eiscue. So Eiscue, it's up to you, buddy. It is up to you, buddy. So Eiscue comes in. And I think we do win this with Eiscue. I think we do win this because Muck doesn't get Shadow Sneak. Alolan Muck. Which is something worth noting. So I'm going to go for the Ice Spinner right now just to get the damage off. And just KO this thing. There we go. So we KO. Which is very nice. Now, the Staraptor. The problem with the Staraptor here is that it outspeeds us. It's Scarfed. But they actually bring in Okuni, which is going to be the Volcarona. Interesting choice. So we're going to go for a Liquidation here just to get that super effective damage and maybe a defense drop. Liquidation comes through, obviously, we outspeed. Does under half, but it does drop their defenses, which is nice. Flame Body, we don't have to worry about Flame Body. They go for a Fiery Dance, which is going to do a bit of damage, nothing too drastic. And it's going to boost their special attack. But they got that defense drop on the Liquidation, which is great. And you know what? Because they got that special attack boost on Fiery Dance, I don't feel bad about the defense drop on Liquidation, to be honest with you. Liquidation comes through. Eiscue's coming through for us right now and KOing the Volcarona like an absolute legend. Who needs Belly Drum when you've got pure raw power or something like that? Right, Ravi comes in. The Staraptor. We win this game now. Because if they go for a Brave Bird to KO us, that's fine. I'm going to go for an Ice Spinner just to see if they are Scarfed or not, because they might not be. They go for the Close Combat instead. That's fine. They want to preserve their recoil, their health as much as they can. But unfortunately for them, Meowscarada in the back there is Choice Scarfed as well. So we outspeed the Staraptor even though they're Choice Scarf, which is fantastic. And they might be thinking in their head right now, hey, I've won this game. I'm afraid not, because Meowscarada is going to come in right now and ruin your day with a knockoff. Actually, let's end it with a bang. Let's go for a Flower Trick. So Flower Trick comes through. It can't miss. Turn into a Grass type, yada, yada, yada. And poof. Down goes the Staraptor. And that is going to be the key. So that's a pretty good one. That was a good second Eiscue video. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, to be honest with you. So GG.